At 80, a simple cold isn't just a cold anymore. It can turn into weeks of recovery, and that's just the beginning. Your body's resilience changes in ways that surprise even the most independent seniors. Are you ready for what that means? If you're 60 or better and you're serious about staying strong, mobile, and independent, you're in the right place. Hit that red subscribe button and join the Elderly Strong community, where we grow stronger together, one step at a time. The silent shrinking of your social world. You used to get calls every week, but now the phone stays quiet. It's not personal, it's a reality many face after 80. Your social world changes without warning. The friends who once filled your calendar may be gone, and the invitations slowly taper off. Even family visits become less frequent, not because they don't care, but because their lives pull them in different directions. The silence can feel louder than you ever expected. Take Margaret, who at 82 noticed her weekly coffee group shrinking. First, it was Betty who passed away. Then, Edna moved to be closer to her daughter. Soon, only Margaret and one other friend remained. She expected to feel lonely, but something unexpected happened. Those quiet afternoons with her last friend became deeper. They talked about things they'd never had time for before. Their childhoods, their regrets, the small joys they still found. The conversations felt different. More meaningful. The hardest part isn't even the quiet itself. It's the moment you realize this isn't temporary. The social life you knew won't return to how it was. That realization can hit harder than the loneliness. You might catch yourself waiting for a call that doesn't come or expecting an invitation that never arrives. The adjustment isn't easy, but it's not hopeless. Here's what changes the game: depth over numbers. You don't need a full room to feel connected. You just need one or two people who truly see you. Studies on aging show that close, emotional bonds matter more for happiness than a wide social circle. A 5-minute conversation where someone really listens can mean more than 10 casual chats. Margaret found this when her neighbor, a woman 20 years younger, started stopping by. At first, it was just to check in. Then, they discovered a shared love of gardening. Those visits became something Margaret looked forward to more than her old group gatherings. It wasn't what she expected, but it worked. You might have to be the one to reach out first. It's okay to say, "I'd love some company," or "Can we talk for a while?" Most people don't realize how much a visit means until you tell them. And if mobility is an issue, a phone call can be just as valuable. The key is to focus on who's still there, not who's gone. This shift in your social world isn't the end of connection. It's different. Sometimes the quiet even brings gifts. Time to reflect, space to appreciate the people who remain. But as your relationships change, something else starts shifting too. Your body sends signals you didn't expect. When small health issues become big problems. A stumble that used to mean a bruise now means a broken bone. Your body's rules have changed. At 80, the same scrapes and sniffles that once healed in days now stretch into weeks. It's not just slower recovery, it's a different kind of healing altogether. Even small things, like a cut from cooking or a mild cold, suddenly demand more attention than they ever did before. You might find yourself canceling plans because a simple ache has turned into something that keeps you in bed. This shift catches many seniors off guard, especially those who've always been active and independent. Take Robert, who spent years working construction and prided himself on toughness. At 83, he slipped on a wet floor and expected to shake it off like he always had. But this time, his wrist fractured. The doctor told him it would take months to heal, not weeks. Robert was shocked. Worse, a minor sinus infection he caught during recovery dragged on for nearly a month. He kept saying, "This never used to happen to me." What he didn't realize was that his body wasn't betraying him, it was just following new rules. Doctors note that after 80, the immune system weakens significantly. Cell regeneration slows. Inflammation lingers longer. A fall that might have caused a bruise at 60 now leads to a fracture because bones lose density. Even hydration becomes trickier. Your sense of thirst diminishes, making it easier to get dehydrated without noticing. These changes aren't failures. They're part of how aging works. But that doesn't make them easier to accept. The emotional toll is real. For someone who's always pushed through discomfort, admitting you need extra time to heal can feel like defeat. You might catch yourself thinking, why can't I just bounce back like before? The frustration isn't just about the physical limitation, it's about what that limitation represents. Losing the ability to recover quickly can make you question your self-sufficiency. One day you're managing fine. The next, you're realizing you have to ask for help with tasks that used to be simple. That adjustment isn't just practical, it's personal. But there's a way to regain control, awareness and adaptation. If you know a cold will take 3 weeks instead of 3 days, you can plan around it. If you understand that dehydration sneaks up faster, you can set reminders to drink water. Small adjustments make a difference. Robert started keeping a cane by the door after his fall, even though he didn't need it all the time. He learned to sit down and rest when his body signaled fatigue instead of pushing through. These weren't concessions, they were strategies. Accepting these changes isn't surrender. It's a shift in approach. You're not giving up, you're learning to navigate a new landscape. Knowledge gives you power. When you recognize that recovery takes longer, you can build that time into your plans without feeling defeated. You might even discover unexpected benefits. Robert found that slowing down let him appreciate small moments, a cup of tea in the morning, the way sunlight hit his porch in the afternoon. He hadn't noticed those things when he was always rushing. The bravest thing you can do is listen when your body says to stop. Rest isn't laziness. It's preservation. This phase of life isn't about proving you're invincible, it's about protecting the strength you still have. The better you understand your body's new rhythms, the more you can work with them instead of against them. While your body demands more attention, society might start giving you less. The next shift isn't physical, it's about how the world sees you or doesn't. Liking these exercises so far? Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a video designed just for you. We've got plenty more to help you stay strong and steady. Backhand index pointing down. Quick question for you in the comments. Which of these exercises feels most doable for you right now? Leg presses, mini jumps, grip work, or cycling? Let's compare notes below. The invisibility of age. When society stops seeing you. You speak, but people talk over you. You contribute, but your ideas are dismissed. This isn't malice, it's a cultural blind spot. After 80, you might notice people glancing past you in conversations, as if your presence has faded. Your stories get interrupted. Your opinions get politely acknowledged but quickly brushed aside. It happens at family dinners, in doctors' offices, even with cashiers who speak a little too loudly, assuming you can't hear or understand. The strange part? Most of the time, they don't even realize they're doing it. Consider Evelyn, an 84-year-old retired teacher. At family gatherings, she noticed her grandchildren would nod politely when she spoke but never really engaged. During one dinner, she mentioned a historical event she'd lived through, something no one else at the table had experienced. The conversation rolled right past her comment. Later, when her son referenced the same event from a documentary he'd seen, everyone leaned in, fascinated. That's when Evelyn understood, it wasn't the information they ignored. It was the source. The next week, she started prefacing her stories with, "Let me tell you what it was like to be there." Suddenly, they listened. Studies show ageism is pervasive, with many assuming seniors have little to offer. Younger generations often equate age with irrelevance, not realizing they're overlooking decades of lived wisdom. It's subtle, a waiter handing the menu to your middle-aged daughter instead of you, or a technician explaining your test results to your nephew as if you're not in the room. These small moments add up. The hardest part isn't the disrespect, it's the creeping feeling that you're becoming a spectator in your own life. The emotional weight is real. You might find yourself hesitating to speak up, wondering if it's worth the effort. Some days, it's easier to stay quiet than to feel ignored again. But here's the truth, your voice still matters. The right people will listen, if you give them the chance. You don't have to shout to be heard. Sometimes, it's as simple as finding new ways to insert yourself into the conversation. Evelyn began asking direct questions. What do you think about what I just said? It forced people to engage with her, not just her age. This isn't about demanding attention. It's about refusing to disappear. You've earned your place at the table. Your experiences, the highs, the lows, the mundane moments in between, are irreplaceable. When others overlook that, it's their loss, not yours. The key is to focus on the people who do see you. They're out there. Maybe it's the librarian who asks for your book recommendations or the neighbor who genuinely wants to hear about your garden. These connections might feel small, but they anchor you in a world that sometimes forgets to look your way. There's power in repetition, too. The more you share your stories, the harder they are to ignore. Leave pauses after you speak instead of rushing to fill the silence. People will learn to wait for you. And when they don't, that says more about them than you. Aging might narrow some doors, but it doesn't erase your right to take up space. Evelyn's family didn't change overnight, but over time, they started asking for her input first. She didn't wait for an invitation. She created her own spotlight, moment by moment. As your social and physical worlds shift, your daily life narrows in unexpected ways. But this narrowing isn't just about loss. It's also about discovering what truly fits in the space you have left. Conclusion. Aging after 80 isn't about decline, it's about adaptation. Consider Henry, who at 88 thought his best days were behind him. Then he started writing letters to his great-grandkids, sharing stories he'd never told anyone. Those letters became their most cherished possessions. The challenges you face, shrinking social circles, health changes, feeling overlooked, are real. But so is your ability to find new ways forward. Henry didn't regain his youth, but he discovered a purpose he'd never expected. Your turn. Which of these realities surprised you the most? Share your thoughts below. Remember, growing older isn't losing, it's learning to live differently. Remember, strength doesn't retire, it just needs a little help staying sharp. So hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with a friend who wants to stay active and independent after 60. We're building something strong here, together.